Hey guys, Jason here, from Politicus USA and the Daily. I just wanted to come in and touch base after this horrible, horrible, horrible shooting in Minnesota. There's something that's really bothering me that I want to spend a few minutes with you to talk about, and that is, every single day Trump's been running around pretending to be a crime fighter, and he's deploying the National Guard and sending troops here and there, but the guy's totally AWOL on this Minnesota mass shooting. I mean, 16 children were shot, 3 adults were shot, 2 children were killed, and there's nobody. You know what? I see Pam saying gun control, and, gun control isn't the whole solution. I think that people get a little too trapped in this, well, if we just take away the guns, the problem's solved. That's kind of falling into that right-wing mindset where they wanna take every mass shooting incident and turn it into a zero-sum guns or no guns for everybody. So, we should be a little more sophisticated than that because this is actually a problem of violence as well. And we need to talk about how if you're going to deal with crime and violence, and you're gonna be a president who claims to be about stopping crime and violence, you can't. You can't just pick and choose which crime and violence you're going to stop. Because Donald Trump so far on this Minnesota shooting has been completely absent. I mean, he's lowered the flags at half staff. All right. He's called Tim Walz. He's got a briefing. You know, he hasn't talked to anybody. He hasn't been out in front to lead the nation, and he most definitely won't talk about things we could do to solve gun violence. So let me get this straight. Trump only likes to deal with certain kinds of crime, and I'll give you 3 guesses what kind of crime that is. It's crime supposedly in cities with a majority minority population that have Democratic mayors. As he said yesterday when asked about sending, troops to red states and red cities, cities with red mayors, he said, "Well, there's not much crime there, so I don't think it's necessary." 13 of the top 20 cities in terms of violent crime are under Republican control. So, yeah. So, apparently Trump is a crime fighter, but he's not, a really dedicated, serious crime fighter or actually really fighting crime at all because crime was already dropping. It's important that we don't see the right has this playbook when it comes to mass shootings and school shootings. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to make everything seem like this is about taking away guns. They're not going to address the actual issue of the ideas they have for reducing school shootings don't work. The shooting today happened because the shooter blockaded the doors while the students and adults were inside at mass, and then shot through the church windows. Arming adults there wouldn't have helped. Metal detectors wouldn't have helped because the shooter never entered the premises. Everything they say that would reduce mass shootings doesn't work. I mean, if it worked, and they've been blocking real reform for years and decades, why haven't mass shootings gone down? It's a simple question. It's not complicated. If their ideas are effective and they work, why hasn't the violence decreased? Please, and there's never a good answer. If you ask them about this, they will not have an answer for you. I mean, Donald Trump is a fake crime fighter. He's a fake crime fighter. He's not interested in doing the real things that need done to make the country safe and secure. And that is a major, major, major problem because he's wasting millions and billions of dollars of government resources on these silly National Guard deployments where they're picking up trash in Washington while children are getting shot in Minneapolis. So, what's Donald Trump doing about the people that are getting shot in Minneapolis? What's Donald Trump doing to keep kids safe at school? What's Donald Trump doing to keep people safe when they go to work or go to the movies or go out with their families? How can he be a up Anne said, "Hello, everybody. Hi, Anne." Anne said, "How can he be a crime fighter when he commits crimes himself?" Yes, that's a little bit like having the fox run the hen house, isn't it? Donald Trump isn't a crime fighter. That's what we have to disabuse ourselves. He isn't a crime fighter. He can't be a crime fighter. This whole narrative that he's fighting crime, besides laughing at it, it's a pretense for terrorizing cities with minority populations. That's what's happening here on that front. So we could play games. We could say, "Oh, well, we got to get rid of all the guns," or we can't get rid of any of the guns. We could fall into that trap again. We could fall into that conversation and that trap again. Or we could quite simply have a different discussion and force them to have a different discussion. I mean, and I think it's time, and it's not gonna change unless we force the conversation to change, and that means not falling into the same old traps of either everybody has guns or nobody has guns. There's a really sensible, nuanced conversation that involves not black and white, that addresses the real problem of how do we keep dangerous people from having guns? Because the everybody has guns or nobody has guns conversation always comes down in favor of everybody has guns, even the mass shooters. That's not that's not the conversation we should be having. But that's the conversation we get lulled into when we get lulled into the gun debate. I think that there is the correlation between the banning of assault weapons and the decline in the mass shooting rate is legitimate and very real. But see, banning assault weapons is not the same as getting rid of all guns. And that is the nuance in the discussion that the right absolutely doesn't want to touch. They don't want to touch that. And, I already saw some anti-gun violence advocates, putting out statements saying, "How many more of our babies have to die?" Well, we know the answer to that. I mean, we already know. They didn't care after Sandy Hook. They didn't care after Parkland. They didn't care after Uvalde. It doesn't matter how many kids die. The number is infinite. If Republicans would sit down and give us the number and say, "Oh, once we hit this quota of 10,000 dead children in a year or a decade or whenever, then we'll talk about gun violence seriously." They won't, because there is no number, because it's infinite. They don't care how many kids die. They don't care how many innocent people get shot. They don't care because they're ideologues who are governing simply based on an ideology. That's the truth. So trying to reason with them or trying to have a serious policy discussion with them is absolutely pointless. The American people want sensible gun laws. And when Democrats get back into power, they have to deliver them. And Democrats are going to get back into power. I had a whole other topic for the live chat this week that was not related to this at all. So this isn't going to be the live chat for the week. I didn't give you guys any notice, and I'm sorry about that. But I just wanted to come on here and talk to you for a few and hear from you and hear how you're doing. Up, our friend Sean Colarossi is here. Dorothea Beckering is here. Hello, guys. Holly FAFO, which isn't Holly's last name, I believe, is here. Judy Lawrence is here. Diana Temple is here. Hello. You know what? So thanks for coming on short notice. I also want to hear your thoughts on this. So, and if you want more people to come in and join us, slam that little heart there, give us a like, and it'll get people coming and going and moving. Jay Spencer's here and two other people. This isn't really meant to take the place of our weekly chat. It's just that something really important happened today. And I think after days of Trump holding events at the White House and talking about how he's such a crime fighter and how the things he's doing in DC and Los Angeles and then planning for Chicago, I think it's important that we sit down and talk, at least for a few moments. And yeah, as Pam said, it's so very sad to lose children. It is very sad to lose children. And to be honest, I really hate writing news stories and doing coverage about school shootings involving children. I've never really gotten over Sandy Hook, and I've never then Uvalde was another one that just really stuck with me, and I'm sure that the situation in Minneapolis is gonna do the same. I mean, it's horrible. It takes a special brand of evil to carry out that kind of crime. So, I I just wanna know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what's going on with you. Patricia and Kevin McKinney are here. Hello, Howard Richmond is here. Barbara Hoffman and Joy Lynn are here. Norman V. Nixon and Brian Miller Hicks are both here. Oh, Sharon Y. Wyoli? Oh, I'm gonna try that. You're here, and I hope you're doing well today, and I hope I didn't murder your last name too badly. Um, oh, May Kai Kendall, Amy Dundee. Why should Amy Dundee asks, why should teenagers be allowed to purchase any gun they want? See, that's a sensible gun reform. Teenagers shouldn't be allowed to purchase any gun they want. Anybody should be allowed to purchase a gun they want. And I live in a concealed carry state. Um, I don't believe anybody should be allowed to open carry. I believe that's just asking for trouble. It makes it even harder and puts law enforcement in more danger whenever everybody's open carrying. Um, it seems like a good idea in theory to some people, but it's really for public safety, not because it relies on everyone to be responsible and not have bad intentions. And we know that's not the case. Joel Jacobs and Timothy John Forbes are here. CK and two others have joined us. Christine Howard and two others have joined us. Remember, guys, if you want more people in here, just hit that heart button. And if you have any questions or comments, please post them. We will respond, we will discuss, we will have ourselves a conversation. So, Holly says, it's such a disgrace. We never needed or had school lockdowns in my day. I'm a Gen Xer. Hey, so am I. So I'm old. I guess that means I am too. But it just shows the difference in gun laws over the years. Yeah, I mean, as a Gen Xer, depending on how old you are, what part of Gen X you're in, Columbine is something that really, really stuck with our generation, even though it was kind of towards the end of the Clinton time. And that was the first time Columbine was that we saw that school shootings on a mass scale could be a big problem. And after Columbine, we banned assault weapons, and the I won't say school shootings stopped because they didn't, but the whole possibility is to make them less deadly. Uh, Kevin McKinney, no words, we need action. I know we do. We've been having words for too long, and I'm tired of it as well. The problem is we have a Republican Congress and a Republican president, so there's not going to be any action. There's just going to be lots of empty words. Deborah Carlone is here. Hi, Deborah. And, we all pretty much know that. Yeah, I mean, up Terry. Hi, Terry. Terry Spedalnik. Oh, I hope I got that right. Is here. Hi, Terry. So this isn't meant to take the place of the live chat. I really just wanted to come in and speak to y'all for a few minutes about something that's really heartbreaking. Dion Brady Morgan is here. Hello. And difficult to deal with as a society. And, other societies around the globe aren't dealing with this to this degree. So we keep saying it's after every mass shooting, but when are we going to look at ourselves and say, you know what? Maybe we're doing something wrong here. Maybe we need to do things differently. That hasn't happened yet because Republicans and conservatives keep preventing that conversation. So everybody gets tired of the talk and the words, as Kevin said. But the problem is we've been worn down by words and we haven't had this serious, real conversation yet. We haven't sat there and said, yeah, we got to do something here. Let's get serious. Let's do something. And if it's the rest of the, because I mean, I won't just say it's Democrats because everybody else outside of Republicans, not even all Republicans feel this way, but outside of the hardcore, want common sense gun laws. This is the vast majority of the country. So, you know, it's not about, well, just Democrats versus Republicans. It's not about a goofy, simple partisan issue. It's about what the majority of the country wants and how they're being held hostage by a tyranny of a minority. Get money out of politics, Kristen M. Earlhart says. Yeah, money's part of it, but it's also that Republicans see that they have a voting constituency that's very pro-gun because they've been built that way for decades. So they're afraid to cross that. Holly says, I find it crazy that when I first turned 18, the drinking age was 18, now 21. But but they did the opposite, lowered the age to own a gun. Mad made the drinking age flip, but no one can get the gun laws passed no matter how many kids we lose. That's true. Again, because it's baked into part of Republican ideology and there's a voting bloc there, and they're afraid to cross it. Julie Stokes has joined us. Hi, Julie. And that's the problem. See, there wasn't a pro-drunk driving voting bloc in a political party back during MAD. Right now, we can't count on Congress to make appropriate legislation, Shuri says. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not get that right. So, what do we have lots of? So, what we do have is lots of blue-leaning states make compacts to agree on sensible things that we want to have. The current word for it is soft succession. Thing of the HBO show, secession. Yeah, I think the blue states have got to come together, and self-secession is a nice word, but that cooperation was already happening before that word entered the popular political lexicon. And federal law supersedes state law, though, so there's that problem. Block politicians from becoming lobbyists. That's true. We need to stop the revolving door. Up CK says, when the MAGAs completely collapse, our government as we know it, how will we rebuild? Can we rebuild America, or is it too late? They're not going to collapse the whole government. They're too inept for that. They're going to break a lot of things, and they are breaking a lot of things. And we can rebuild that pretty easily. It'll take time, but we can rebuild it. And, as Joe Biden said, we can build it back better. I think that what we can't rebuild is some of the damage that's being done to the concept of democracy. I wrote this today in Politicus USA. When Trump talks about dictatorship, he's not, it turns out, talking about staying in office forever, but such a broad expansion of executive power that it puts the presidency above the other branches and shatters the constitutional principle of co-equal branches of governments and checks and balances. And if that ever takes hold, we've got a real problem. And that won't be solved with just getting rid of Trump or Republicans or electing Democrats, because then every president will be able to behave the way that with the precedent that Trump is setting. So we need to be smart here, and we need to be very careful. But first, Democrats need to win, and that will start fixing things. Uh, Hannah Throckmorton is here. Hey, Kathleen Twardowski, and Shirley Cochran. I see Kathleen all the time in the comment sections at Politicus USA and the Daily. Hi, Kathleen. It's great to see you. Well, not really see you, but great to see your name there. Kathy joined. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you. Hannah says hello. Hi, Hannah. I believe we've seen Hannah in the chats before, but you're very welcome here. So yeah, that's what's going on. I'm gonna try to squeeze in because the holiday weekend's coming up, and we got some all kinds of construction going on around us, and it's pretty loud. And there's going to be some stuff maybe this weekend. I'm going to try to squeeze in a full scheduled chat for everybody very soon. Yeah, if you guys have any comments on this issue, on what happened in Minnesota today, or anything else, please, please post them and share them. Donald Leavenmore and Tony Garvey, or yeah, Garvey. If you guys are tuning in late, if you just got here, Pam says you give me hope. Thank you, Pam. You're welcome. You guys inspire me every day too. You guys inspire me to come in here and do this, and you're the reason why I'm here. So I really, really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys coming in on short notice, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Okay, I didn't come with everything charged up and ready to roll. I rolled down here just on the spur of the moment to get something done. Now I'm getting indicators that my batteries are running low. I got to get out of here. I will schedule something within the next couple of days, day or two, and we'll have a real chat. Okay, and we'll do questions and we'll talk about everything going on in the world and politics. Until then, I'm Jason Easley. If you're not subscribed to Politicus USA or The Daily, please come in and subscribe. If you're joining us late, this whole chat is going to be posted at The Daily with Sarah Jones. And I'll write something underneath it that will be different from the chat. So please keep your head up, keep your chin up, and keep thinking of ways to fight back. I'm sorry I had to join you late, but have a great afternoon. Thanks, Hannah. Well, yeah, I mean, when I give more notice, when there's not something breaking going on, we'll be able to schedule things out a little bit better. Um, some say the Constitution never uses the words co-equal branches. It just says Article 1 for Congress. Amy says, thanks. That's true, but the system of government, if you read the Federalist Papers, lays out a co-equal system of government. It's pretty obvious what the founders meant. So some say that that's a bunch of BS. I'm Jason Easley. If you're not subscribed to Politicus USA and The Daily, please consider doing so. It's great to have that. Anthony and Mark Struckoff have joined. Guys, I got to run. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you, and we're going to talk again really soon. Okay? Thanks.